family. Hey, welcome back to Rooted Vines. And if you just happen to be scrolling and you caught this channel, look, I'm Mayaka Anderson, owner of Rooted Vines, where we do herbal teas to heal your soul, your mind, and your body one sip at a time. Look, you guys, I haven't been on in a while. I have put up a lot of shorts, but I haven't done long content videos here on YouTube because I've been busy. I've had to do a month full of content for all the other platforms, and so it kind of took me off my grind. And if you did not see my other video, your girl is working again. Okay, I'm trying to get Rooted Vines up. I'm trying to get people involved in getting to know themselves again. Okay, and with the process of making tea and sitting back and really listening to yourself and listening to God speak to you from within, right? So that's what it's all about. And speaking of God, y'all, this is an encouraging and an uplifting channel. All right. So everything I do is encouraging and uplifting. You know, having people go within, ask the questions so they can live better lives. I want y'all to live better lives and understand that you are the captain of your own ship and you can go anywhere you want to and make your life look the way that you want it to look. We got a lot of stuff going on in this world. And my girlfriend called me today from Washington State, and she asked me about if I had seen the scroll the video, I guess, going around of the pastor who paraded this young lady in front of the church to apologize for, I guess, pregnancy. I hope I got this right because y'all, I don't be, even though I post on social media, I don't be on there because it's too much. Okay, it's too much. So no, I didn't see it, but she told me kind of what went on and asked what I thought about it. So before I even jump into this, y'all go on and like, share, and subscribe. Y'all like, share, and subscribe. Help your sister out. I need some more subscribers. Come on, come on. All right. So number one, I'm going to start with this story. I hadn't been in church in a long time. And if you have, my hair is acting up, but if you have watched any of my videos or been following me, you know why, right? Because the pastor had molested two of my daughters and it kind of sent my whole world in a tailspin. Okay. Haven't been in church, mess with church, whatever. We volunteered to do a Wonderland for a friend who runs a business, and she puts on events. So we volunteered, and during one of the events, I happened to meet the mayor of Fayetteville, and he happened to be a pastor, and he invited me to a church that's literally right down the street from my house. So because he was so nice, we had a really good conversation. I was like, okay, I'll go. I'll see what church is doing these days. I ain't been in there in a minute. See what my spirit says. So we went to church, and it's the first Sunday, as y'all know, first Sunday of the year. Um, and I was disappointed. It's the same old since I was a little girl, since my grandmama took me to church. Look, I was embedded in the church, okay? Embedded, all right? I've done all the things, been on all the auxiliaries. I've traveled with the church, all of the things. I did all the things, okay? So I was really disappointed to walk in, and really I'm just there for the sermon because I don't care about all of the other stuff that goes on. That don't make me none, okay? But I wanted to hear the word, and the word was disappointing. It was encouraging and it was uplifting because it had to do with the beginning of the year. But literally the congregation knew the sermon because everything was just scriptures, right? Just the scriptures we've all heard since we were 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. Some scriptures we regurgitated over and over again. They're just etched in our heart and our memory. When you start saying them, everybody starts saying them with you. Um, Although it was encouraging, it didn't give anybody any steps on how to do what he was talking about. And this is what I have an issue with when it comes to the church. They tell you all of this stuff in this good book, right? This is my daughter's Bible. In the good book, because my Bible's falling apart. Uh, and they don't give you the steps on how do I do that? How do I implement that? What does that look like? If I'm struggling in here, which way do I go? How do I put these steps into place? And the problem is the church never tells you that. They just tell you this is what you should be doing. This is what Yeshua said. This is what God is saying. But I am human. I am living this life now. How do I get to that point step by step? And that's what people need. And that's why people don't change. They go to church, they join the church, they get baptized, and they leave just the way they were. And a lot of them just leave church period because they're like, there's no difference between me and those people sitting on those pews. And you absolutely right, baby. There is no difference. They're struggling with the same old thing. And this brings me to this subject with this young lady. You know, it's sad that you would put a young girl up there to apologize, to admit her sin, when that congregation is full of people who are sinning and doing worse sin than she is, but you just can't see it. Right? And to say that she doesn't deserve a baby shower, and if y'all go and all that, all the threats, this is church. This is God's child. He will deal with her accordingly. The church is supposed to support, to gather round. It is not supposed to conquer, divide, and shame. That's not what's supposed to happen. And this young girl had to sit there and admit this in front of people who have their own faults, in front of a pastor who has his own faults. I'm sure, because we're all human. Ain't nobody sitting in that congregation perfect. I am not perfect. We are all dealing with struggles, demons, addictions, people sometimes can't see, right? So you think you can get away with it because nobody can see what you're doing. And obviously she's not going to be able to get away with it because her belly is going to start growing, right? And I say this because when I found out the pastor had molested my children, right? And I hope we can say this on YouTube. I hope I don't get banned because this is the truth and this is my story, all right? When this happened and all of this thing came out, I learned that half the congregation knew his past. He had been a teacher before and he had lost his teaching license or the right to teach in the state because he was having inappropriate relationships with mentally challenged children that he was teaching. And what happened was the school board, when the parents found out, you know, big investigation, all of that, the school board and the parents and him made a deal, whatever it was. I don't know what the parents got. I don't know how it worked out, but he was not allowed to teach again. So what he did do is go right into pastoring. Now, back on the subject of the congregation, because nobody stood up for this girl. Nobody got up and said, hey, this is wrong. We're not going to do this, right? They were sheep. They were followers, right? So with my congregation, half of them knew who he was, and they knew I had these four daughters. And nobody uttered a word. And do you know half of the ones that knew still are sitting in them pews today? Even though he went to jail, even though he was found guilty, them jokers are still in that church today. So let me tell you something. The church is a cult. The church is a cult. Okay, not every church, but every church got their little things. And I want you to understand that the church is not four buildings. It is you, baby. It ain't them people sitting in the pews. It's you. And sometimes we have to step back and look at what's really going on, because the thing is, a lot of us, like me, grew up in the church. And we knew that church life, and you know that Bible, and you follow the pastor. Whatever the pastor say, that's what I say, right? We put the pastor above everything else, even common sense, even compassion, even empathy, even love, right? This man in that pulpit, he is your everything. And I had to admit at that time in my life that, yeah, he was. I wasn't listening to what God had to say. I was listening to what the pastor had to say. And when I was going through, I remember asking God when I was on the healthy side, because I had some disrespectful words for the Most High when I was going through, because it happened in the church and because it was the pastor and the congregation. You know, it was just, I felt betrayed, not only by the church and the pastor, but I felt betrayed by God. So when I was healed and I could come with respect, I did. I asked. I said, you know, I did all these things. I was on the usher board. You know, I sang in the choir. I was the director of the children's choir. When the church needed me to travel, I was traveling. You know, I was at the Bible studies. I did all the things. Why would you do this to me? And I remember as clear as day, a voice saying, you didn't do none of that for me. None of that was done for me. And matter of fact, I didn't ask you to do any of that. I didn't call you to the usher board. I didn't call you to the choir. I didn't call you to go and sing at other churches. I didn't call you to Bible study. I called you to me, and you couldn't hear me because you had this man placed above you so high. So I had to rock your foundation because you're the type of person that is loyal. And I couldn't do something small to get your attention. I had to do something that would rock your foundation. And that he did, honey. That he did. And for 7 years, suicidal and homicidal, I didn't know where I was coming, going, whatever. And I asked too, because I know you're wondering, but what about the kids? You know, these were the babies. And I asked that question, and God said, that's none of your business because those are my children. I know what they need. And it could have been worse, but it wasn't. So I had to shut my mouth, and I had to deal with that portion. But it really woke me up, and God started dealing with me when it comes to the church and the people of the church, because the people of the church are not necessarily the people of God. Let me say this. The people of the church that sit in that congregation is not necessarily the church of God. They don't belong to the Most High. Okay? So we have to be able to discern. Use our discernment, which is a gift. Use our intuition, which is a gift. Step back. Start bringing your Bibles to your churches and reading, because we can't keep reading partials and copy and pasting stuff together so it sounds good, right? We have to really read that thing. And we have to reference and go back to other chapters and read that thing. Understand the culture and why certain things were happening at that time. Pastors don't do that. They don't do the deep research. They don't go over the whole entire chapter. They want to piece it together. It sounds good. That's why y'all all regurgitate the same old uh, uh, scriptures over and over again, because that's all they teach. I can go to any church and a pastor is preaching on something I heard when I was in third grade, fifth grade, sixth grade. Nothing is changing except now we got prosperity preaching. We got dating preaching. We got business preaching. We got everything but the word of God. And now they put the words up on the big screen, right? You ain't even got to bring your Bible. Don't worry, baby. I got you. I got you. And the thing about the church I visited, they were reading out an NIV version of the Bible. And let me tell you, the Bible I only take with a grain of salt, especially the King James. So don't think that I'm harping on the NIV version, because the King James Bible is the King James Bible. Do you understand? King James was a real person. That is his Bible, his take on what the Bible is. All right. So that's why it's so important to have a personal relationship with the Most High. You cannot depend on man to teach you. Yeshua came here and he guided. He said, none is perfect, not even me. Why would you say I'm perfect? He made sure that they understood there was only one perfect one, right? He made sure that he told them, he never said he was God. He never said that. But he always referenced that there is a God, and this is how you get there. These are the things that you do. This is how you live. He was a great messenger, a prophet. And yes, he was the son of God, just like I'm the daughter of God. We have to stop playing these games, these mind games with ourselves and the games with the word, right? We have to look a little deeper. That's why Yeshua spoke in parables. You got to understand this thing. Even John said in here, these are allegories. The things I go over and I speak, these are allegories. They're examples for you to take and then look at your own life. Study your own life. But they don't tell you that John said these were allegories. And even when we cover our head, John says that wasn't our practice. Not that it's wrong, but I'm just letting you know that ain't what that is, right? But we're not taught on those things. The things that matter, the things that people are suffering and struggling with, the demons that they're struggling with. Nobody's Nobody's addressing those, right? Baby, just have faith. Baby, just pray. Yeah, we can do all of that, but I'm in the midst of something. I need someone to hold my hand and get me to step one and step two. Do you understand this thing is real and it hurts, right? And it's not about my faith because I know God is real, but I'm hurt. And the hurt, I know my hurt was grief. And I didn't know it was grief until I was healed because the grief stayed too long and it turned to rage. And I think that's why God says, don't let the sun set on your anger, because if you wait too long, it can turn into something else. It won't stay that emotion forever. It morphs into something else. And that's what it did to me. My grief morphed into anger, and my anger morphed into rage. And honey, my rage was psychotic. Do you hear me? Psychotic. I was danger to myself, and I was definitely a danger to others. But I played it well. Nobody knew that. I played that thing well, honey. But I was fit to be tied. And the only thing that saved me was spirit. And I don't know why that happened. I don't know why I was chosen, but I was, and I'm still here. But my outlook on church and the Bible and how this game is played by these preachers and these deacons, it truly amazes me. And it amazes me that I didn't see it sooner. But I have to give myself grace and compassion because that's what I grew up with. All of that is normal. When you see it day in and day out, and all the adults are being like this, and this is how you conduct yourself, all that is normal. And you don't see that you're caught up in it. You got pastors telling you, what to wear and how to talk and who you can visit and who you can't visit and, what you can eat and what you can't eat and this and that. They got rules. And then we buy into it because we got a membership. Who has a membership to church? We're all part of God's glory. You don't need no membership. When he created me, I was in the club, baby. I was in the club. I didn't need to sign my paper and adhere to your rules. I'm not part of your church. I am the church. You see what I'm saying? I don't have to go to church to see God and be in God's presence. He's always with me. I carry the Most High everywhere I go. So I just want y'all to be encouraged. I want to uplift you. And I want you to really think about what's going on in your life, because it's not just church that has bamboozled us, okay? It's not just church. School has bamboozled us, all right? Our jobs, the workplace, the career has bamboozled us. Politics have been bamboozled. Business as usual. But people are starting to see that as usual don't make sense. It don't look right. It's not working right. It's not helping. It's not encouraging. It's not uplifting. It's not doing the things that the Most High said should be done. We are killing, we are stealing, and we are destroying. What does that tell you? What does that say? Look, y'all, this video was a little deep, and it's really personal to me. And I tried to keep my emotions in. I did pretty good because I can really go off on a tangent on this with the pain that I had, but I'm healed, so that pain and that anger don't come out like it used to, honey, because this computer would have been across town somewhere now trying to explain my story to you. I did write a book called Confronting Reflections. I got an ebook and a regular book, and it just tells you a little bit. I don't go in depth because the whole purpose of writing the book, when the Most High told me to write the book, was to give you the steps that the Most High gave me to heal myself. And let me tell you, any journey you take to heal, you have to start with self. And that's why I do Rooted Vines, for you to get in touch with yourself. That is why I offer tea as a healing place for your mind, your spirit, and a body, because you have to make the tea. And in the process of making the tea, it is quiet and you must think and it gives you time to yourself, and you can sit and you can pause and you can reflect. And God told me when I was going through my healing journey, you got to look at you, right? I can't, even though the pastor did what he did, even though the congregation was what it was, I have to look at me, because the truth is, if I would have listened, If I would have stopped, if I would have communed more, if I would have heard his voice, if I would have stopped putting other things above him, I would have never took that detour and it never would have happened. But because my ears was closed and my heart was somewhere else, I ended up where I ended up. And I had to look at me. I I chose to go certain routes that I had no business going. Routes that I knew wouldn't be good. And sometimes they're not bad routes. You're going and things are going fine until you hit that big stumbling block. And they say, baby, you wasn't supposed to be here. And it's painful. And it's been a long time. My kids are grown. They got all their kids now. But it still affects them. And it affects them at church. But God has to deal with that. And he told me he would. So I'm gonna leave it to the most high to deal with. And they'll be right where they're supposed to be. And he'll call and he'll go to them just like he did me. Because I didn't know God could come see you outside of the church until he stepped foot in my apartment and said, baby, we ain't doing this. When the thunder and the waves of river water rushing voice comes and starts to speak and things start to shake and move and your body moves before you can even know what's going on, you know the presence of God is there. But I just want to encourage you to look at yourself. Don't be afraid. Yes, we've made some mistakes, baby. We have done some things, but there's always time to return. Sit with yourself, journal, talk to the Most High. Just pour your heart out. Write a letter to him. Just get it out. And then look at yourself in every decision you've made. Look at where you're going and where you're headed and find out if that's where you're supposed to be. Is God calling you to another calling? And let me tell you, it's going to be scary. Because look, I'm doing all kinds of stuff. God had told me to write that book. I was like, what? Who I'm going to get this book? Who going to read this book? And I'm still saying that because I got books. But that's none of my business. He told me to write a book. I wrote the book. He told me to do an ebook. I did the ebook. That's what, you follow the instruction. I don't know what he has in store with this book and the story I'm telling. I don't know what he has in store with rooted vines and these teas I'm offering. I don't know what he has in store that now I'm a life coach and I got clients. I don't know what he has in store, but I know that he holds my future and that's good enough, y'all. That's good enough for me. So I'm going to ride this all the way out. Look, y'all, I've spent enough time on here. May God bless you. And as always, I pray that whatever you seek and you desire in this realm is seeking and desiring you. Y'all, look, y'all better hit that subscribe button and that like button. And put a comment down. How do you feel about if you saw this video? Because I didn't see it. So I'm talking secondhand. Except for my story. How did you feel about that if you saw it? Or how do you feel about church, period? How did the way that they conduct things, the way things are looking and going on, the way that they're not showing up for communities anymore like they used to, right? They're not even working together. How you got 5 churches on one square block and they don't even talk to each other? There's a problem there. Either we're serving different gods at these churches, or I don't know what's going on, but we need to question what's going on. All right. Well, I gotta go, y'all. It's cold outside. Georgia, it was snowing and the temperature is dropping. My husband's watching football, so I didn't want to disturb him, so I came outside. I usually stay inside with the plants, but my plants aren't outside because it's too cold for them. That's why you don't see them out here. Usually they're out here. But look, let me go. I gotta go on and put this spaghetti on, y'all. All right. All right, I love y'all. Y'all take care of yourself. Peace and blessings, family.